Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Today's video was brought to us by Patreon supporter Pedro. Huge thanks to Pedro and the rest of my Patreon supporters. Pedro reached out asking for a commander deck led by a dwarf with a budget of $350, and I was more than happy to help. But before we get started, I'd like to quickly ask you to like and subscribe. It really does help the channel and it's free. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. Now, Pedro and I went back and forth discussing which dwarf commander he wanted. Specifically, he wanted one of the legendary dwarves from The Lord of the Rings, The Tales of Middle-earth. So I presented him with three options. We could do one built around Gimli of the Glittering Caves with a focus on legendary creatures, plus a small Voltron package to give Gimli double strike and trample. We could go for Gloin, Dwarf Emissary, with a focus on cards from the Lord of the Rings set. Or we could go for Magda, Brazen Outlaw. I know that Magda wasn't from the Lord of the Rings set, but she does care about having dwarves in her deck. Pedro eventually decided that we should go with Gloin. Gloin, Dwarf Emissary, is a 3-mana 3/3 legendary dwarf advisor. Whenever we cast a historic spell, that's an artifact, legendary, or saga, we create a treasure token. But that ability only triggers once per turn. Additionally, we may tap Gloin and sacrifice a treasure. If we do, target creature becomes goaded. So, Gloin wants us to run a bunch of sagas, legends, and artifacts. And since we care about treasures, we need to have a Dockside Extortionist, right? Wrong. We will not be running Dockside in this deck despite having the budget for it. Why? Because it's a goblin, and running goblins in a deck with dwarves, especially Lord of the Rings dwarves, would be a flavor fail. And flavor is more important when building a casual deck than power. Now, there are a lot of legends, sagas, and artifacts that we can run in a mono-red deck, but we'll still want to follow our handy-dandy checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. As I'm sure you've heard by now, this channel is sponsored by Ultimate Guard. For the past few years, Ultimate Guard has been hard at work finding ways to protect your cards without damaging the planet, and they have discovered it. Boulders, once made entirely of plastic, are now made of 87% renewable resources. They also come in a variety of sizes, including this new 133 card box. If you're like me, you have a ton of decks, want a little bit of extra space for your tokens in your deck box, and don't want those boxes filling up an entire suitcase, then this box is the perfect solution. Find out if your local game store carries the new Return to Earth boulders from Ultimate Guard, or click on the link down below to order yourself one from Amazon. One more thing before we get started. I've been streaming Final Fantasy XIV over on my other channel, Musings by Danon. If you want to pop in and ask some questions, chat about Commander, or just hang out, you're more than welcome to. For right now, I'm streaming on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Treasure Vault, Mines of Moria, War Room, Scavenger Grounds, Myriad Landscape, and 30 mountains make up our land base. Corvold and the Noble Thief, the Iron Crag, Goldspan Dragon, Cavern Horde Dragon, Rapacious Dragon, Ancient Copper Dragon, Ganax Astral Hunter, Captain Lannery Storm, Brass's Bounty, Descent into Avernus, Noble's Purse, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Mindstone, Fire Diamond, Solemn Simulacrum, Joyra's Familiar, and Burnished Heart help us to ramp into our spells. I know that's a lot, but a good portion of our ramp is dragons, so it's not like we can just slam them on turn 2 and start using treasures. Gotta wait till at least turn 3 or so. Collector's Vault, Big Score, Unexpected Windfall, Pirate's Pillage, Seize the Spoils, Jeska's Will, Wheel of Misfortune, Quarrel's End, The One Ring, Trash for Treasure, and the Fires of Mount Doom help us to dig through our deck and keep our hands full. Chaos Warp, Abrade, Tybalt's Trickery, Deflecting Swat, Cathartic Pyre, Vandal Blast, Cast into the Fire, Rampaging War Mammoth, Plundering Barbarian, and Reverberate help us to keep our opponents in line. The Elder Dragon War, Blasphemous Act, Disrupt Decorum, and Reckless Endeavor help us to reset the board as needed. There and Back Again, Fable of the Mirror Breaker, Sir Ginger the Meal Ender, Reckless Fireweaver, Zorn, Gimli of the Glittering Caves, Magda Brazen Outlaw, Baloth Baratil Entertainer, Ingenious Artillerist, Hellkite Tyrant, and Torbrand Thane of Redfell make up the core of our deck. But supporting our plan, we're also running Shimmermere, Mithril Coat, Liberator Urza's Battlethopter, Gerard's Hourglass Pendant, Embercleave, Seize the Spotlight, Call for Aid, Gimli's Reckless Might, and Vidalcan Orrery. Now that we have our deck list, let's compare it to our checklist. 53 mana sources split between 35 lands and 18 pieces of ramp. A little high, I know, but some of that ramp is big stompy dragons, as I explained earlier. 11 pieces of card advantage, 10 pieces of spot removal, 4 board wipes, 1 piece of graveyard hate in Myriad Landscape, 1 sudden I win card in Hellkite Tyrant. Of course, we don't need Hellkite Tyrant to win the game. We can just goad all of our opponent's creatures so that they don't have any blockers, and smash their face with a Flight of Dragons. Or just Sir Ginger the Meal Ender, whichever works best. Now, the goal for this deck was something flavorful and fun, but not overbearing. This is a fun commander deck meant to be enjoyed at a mid-level table, and I think Pedro will have a lot of fun playing it. Do you have a more casual, laid-back commander deck? Who's your commander? What do you do to ensure your deck doesn't become overbearing? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cutestuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. There's a new $5 player tier. Joining this tier will give you access to our private Discord, as well as the power to vote on upcoming content. I wish I could make every video that gets suggested to me down in the comments, but there's just never enough time. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Danny, Muffins, Marcus, Squishy, Brett, Roxy, Josh, Sean, Pob Zombie, Mark, Alex, Cookie, Borgie, Jake, Exiled Rogue, Manassas Nazwin, Pedro, Aranor, Tom, Echo Fox, and Midge. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.